Hey, Thomas, thanks for joining us today. You got to watch everything back last night. How are you feeling this morning?
I feel so good. I feel overwhelmed. I feel like the luckiest fourth boot in the history of Survivor, if I'm being honest with you.
Now, I always believe in the old saying of like, if you want something done right, you do it yourself. Do you wish you would have searched the bag, Thomas?
Hindsight's a real bitch. Yeah, I mean, now understanding how I was being perceived already as a little villainous, I
Right.
kind of wished I leaned in, especially since Shaheen's, no offense, bro, sucked at that bag search. But I was trying to lay that at Shaheen's feet, if that makes sense. Um, and be like, great, you can be the person that searches the bag. You can be the person that makes your target bigger. Like, I will be little innocent old me. My hands will be clean as a whistle, and it turns out no one thought that. So yeah, I should have just done it myself.
Now, you notice that, there's a always controversy when, players search through other people's belongings. Stuff. Where do you stand on all of that?
I mean, I guess I'm fine with it. Um, I feel like going through, I think that maybe in the beginning it felt very like personal, like crossing
Right,
a line. But I
right,
think we're on season 48, and I feel like bag searches are very much a thing now. And as a player, you should anticipate that. Like, I never left my advantage in my bag. Like, my
right.
advantage was like in my pocket, in my underwear. Like that thing, like you would have to like cavity search me to find that piece of paper. So that's kind of why I wasn't even that interested in the bag search with Shaheen because I knew Kyle was really smart and he was lying to
Right.
me about a lot, and I didn't think he'd be dumb enough to leave the idol in his shoe.
Now, of course,
But yeah.
you're going to have a lot of backseat survivor drivers, and they're going to say, Thomas, why didn't you play your advantage? Tell us a
Mhm.
little bit about what your thinking was going into trouble, because obviously nobody leaves something like that in their pocket on purpose, especially such a important power.
Yeah, so the advantage, yeah, it's like, why didn't you play the advantage, Thomas? The reason I didn't play it is because my alliance with the boys was very important to me.
Right,
And it had been made such a big deal by Kyle and Camilla that I was lying, that I had to double down on the fact that I wasn't in order to keep them with me
right.
before we went to the challenge. Um, and then after the challenge, I was sitting there and I was like, if I use my advantage, maybe the three of us get through tribal, but our trust is gone.
Yeah,
And I wasn't ready to just crater that alliance. Like, Joe is the Titanic. He is strong, but he's hard to turn. And
right.
Shaheen is a puppy dog who can get spooked, and you need to like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think dropping that is like hitting an iceberg and like thunder hitting the pup. Do you know what I mean? It's like maybe we survive, but it disrupts thing, and I think it fucks up my game in the long run. And I looked at it as like the chance of Kyle having an idol would be like 1 in 6 SIVA members, you
Mm,
know? So it was
yeah,
like a reverse shot in the dark. Um, and so in my brain, I was like, let me roll the dice.
yeah.
Dice.
Now, now, obviously, advantages and twists are all part of the game. Um, Unfortunately, when you have only three tribes instead of two, sometimes this happens where obviously other people suffer the consequences of one tribe not doing so well. How did you fare with all that? And what did you think of basically? I mean, you were backed into a corner because of advantages and twists.
Yeah, I mean, I'm of two different minds about it.
Right,
I do feel like a lot of advantages are disadvantages. Like,
right,
I'm an old school player and I am like, I prefer to know where they are than to have them.
right,
And I mean, I had both when I was on Logi, like I was getting all the info from literally everybody.
right.
So that's why, like, if we had gone to tribal, like, and if there was no swap and we went to tribal, basically what Shaheen and I wanted to do is what would have happened. Um, But when they're just like everywhere in the game, it does just change the calculus of things, right?
Mm,
Because you can't trust what like I couldn't trust what Camilla and Kyle were saying to
right.
me. Like, I knew Camilla was lying about her journey, the way she explained it, based on what I got out of Bianca, and I knew Bianca wasn't lying to me.
Uh-huh.
Uh And so it's just like all the information from them was bullshit, if you ask me. So it was like I knew I was gonna go home if Kyle had an idol.
Right.
That was like in my brain. And I was like, that's a 1 in 6. So do I blow up the California girls uh to avoid a 1 in 6 shot? And I
Mhm.
decided to, in theory, if he didn't have an idol, set myself up to go far into the game with the girls.
Now, what was some of the thinking behind the scenes about targeting Kevin at Tribal Council?
Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, sorry.
Kyle?
Yeah, Kyle, sorry.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, I didn't vote him out. Uh, so basically, Kyle and Miller were brilliant, right? Like,
Right.
I wanted to go after Camilla so badly the moment she told me her favorite players were Philip and Q.
Yeah.
I was like, we have a problem. Like, this girl is chaos, chaos with a K. Um, and I was like, I can't work with that. Like, I don't know what
Yeah.
she's gonna do. And Kyle was like, I'm Siva strong. My number one's David. Like, I'm always gonna be loyal to Siva. And I was like, he is lying to us because why would you say that? When you're on the bottom. But the boys were like so triggered by Kyle and like
Uh,
his energy. And he was smart because he got the two boys to be like, no, 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 let's get this dude out. Like, we can't work with that. And I got outvoted. So we went after Kyle.
Now, obviously, you don't get to see a lot of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. And, you had mentioned your plan to Shawan about not exactly letting a puzzle be solved on the island. Obviously, you saw his reaction to that. Did that surprise you about any of that?
His reaction
Yeah.
in his confessional did surprise me
Yeah.
after I said it could just disappear because we were having like nefarious chats
Yeah.
about like taking Eva out behind Joe's back, which feels like way crazier than eliminating the person that we all want out of the game. Like, I'm mafia, right? Like you're in the family or you're not, and if you're coming for my family,
Yeah.
you're dead. So that's why I was like, this is just a solution to our problem. Like, goodbye. Like, let's just make this easy, which I get it came off a little much. But that was because we had other nefarious combos ourselves. So I was like, why are you shocked?
Yeah, obviously, it's a lot tougher to play with three tribes than two. I mean, there's less places to hide, there's less room to maneuver.
Hmm.
How did you find navigating your way through that as opposed to, having a bigger tribe and again, more targets and other people to camouflage you,
It's interesting because I feel like for a player like me,
right?
it's a bit harder in a
Yeah,
smaller tribe
yeah.
because I think it's easier to stick out. Um, and I think now I like can see myself obviously a little bit clearer. And I thought my threat level was so low, which is like so funny to me. Um, whatever, hindsight's a bitch. But in the smaller tribe, I approached it of like, okay, if we were in two tribes of 10 or 9,
Right,
I would need to figure out a way to have 4 other people with me
right.
to have a safe majority. And I was like, okay, in a tribe of 6, I just have to find 3.
Yeah,
So I just like told myself like find the 3. And then once I had Joe and Shaheen and then Bianca, and understood the dynamic between Joe and Shaheen of desperately wanting to be number ones, but Joe had Eva as the number one, at which made Shaheen nervous, which means that I could say, come with me, even though I have Bianca as my number one. That just put me in a position, and Star was eventually talking to me too.
right,
That just put me in a position where it's like I could read the room, and maybe if I'm not making the decision, like I'm gonna know which way the tide is going, and at
right,
certain points influence it. Like especially when with like Bianca and Shaheen.
right.
But
Now,
like I was gonna know how Eva and Joe were voting. Like there was no world in which I didn't have that information. And that's 2
yeah.
votes out of 6.
Mhm.
And I knew it wasn't me.
Exactly, yes. And again, we only get to see a small portion of your journey on the island, obviously for time purposes. Is there anything about your journey, whether it was a moment, whether it was strategy or just a personal moment, is there anything you wish fans would have seen on the show?
Um, I think there's a narrative about like Loggy didn't like Star, and I just don't,
Right,
that's just like not true.
right.
Um, I think that obviously Star went after the idol, which creates tension, but at the end of the day, like we never like I like love Loggy. Like I feel so lucky that it was the six of us.
Right.
And I wish there was like more moments of that being shown. I feel like there are I feel like the California girls like got a lot of airtime and that's so fucking cool. Um, but like I do think that there's an element to how fucking smart Bianca is and how
Right.
great she is. And I feel like because I was in between like me and her and then the girls, that like you don't see as much of her, but she like had information that she would bring me. Like she was
Oh,
so active and just brilliant and wonderful out there. And then we did on the bonfire was 4th of July.
there you
And
go.
so that's why we made the bonfire. So I wish that was shown. And then we like sang America the Beautiful and the
Uh,
Star Spangled Banner, like as a tribe, and it was cute.
Now, one final question again. We only got to see a part of the devious player that is Thomas. Your survivor journey was cut a little bit short. If they asked you
hmm
to come back and play, would you play again, Thomas?
Right now, I would get on a boat, plane, whatever. Like there's this game changed my life. Like
Uh,
I am a different person after playing the game, and got so much out of it, even though it was only these 9 days that yeah, I would do it again in a heartbeat. Are you kidding me?
well, what people don't realize, it's not just the 9 days. You're there for a considerable amount of time before the game even begins. And that's what
Yeah.
a lot of people say is that when they go out on Survivor and they go in there, the one thing they take home beyond anything else is an introspection of themselves and an appreciation for everything they have back home.
Oh yeah, I came home and I was like, I'm the luckiest person to ever live. Like this is nuts. I mean, there was um in the marooning,
Yeah,
obviously like Jeff asked everybody their mat chat, and Mike Bloom put out my mat chat that didn't make the air
yeah,
about Survivor being gay culture.
yeah.
Um, and that was the only moment in the entire time that I was playing that I wanted to quit
Uh,
because we hit the mat and you finally start to hear people's stories and who they are.
right.
And I felt like I like came from a place of like privilege with like I have this very big, beautiful, full life, and I have my dream job, and I have the most amazing husband and family, and blah blah blah. And in that moment, I was like, "Ooh, like, should I be doing this? Like, am I taking someone's spot that someone else?" And then in the moment when I like gave my mat chat and committed and like was there,
Yeah.
um, that's when everything in my entire life started changing because it was the scariest thing I've ever done, and it was the best thing I've ever done.
Well, Thomas, it was so great to talk to you today. It was great to watch you on your show. All the best in the future. And who knows, maybe your survivor journey isn't over just yet. You never know.
Same. Yeah.
Take care, Thomas. Have a great day.
Nice to meet you. You too.